The type of attention you get and who you get it from determines where we end up in life.
We are we got.
This has already been accepted at the University of Texas in Austin, electrical
In a
engineering.
community where the statistics aren't the best, the default isn't the best either.
The gentleman who's going to be on the field representing South San,
Defensive captain of the varsity football team.
Mr. Jesus Rendon.
His life to giving back to this community.
St. Joseph's Catholic Church Choir.
So I decided to start a nonprofit called Building a Purpose.
And if we can raise that default to be something of higher standards,
Help students find their purpose in life.
I think we can do something.
We are we need.
Podcast where we talk about life, purpose, and God. And our next guest here is aspiring actor Henry Lee, a young man who I've known for 5-ish years, and very excited to see his career come. He's sat down in interviews with some pretty cool folks, and he's also been on some pretty cool sets. Coming along, making his way through the neighborhood, and through our organization, Building a Purpose. We're excited to have him. Thank you, Henry.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Or awesome to be here. Thank you.
Cool. So how's life? What's going on?
It's good. It's busy. I'm just trying to, continue to climb the ladder, trying to escalate higher and higher for what I want to do and for what I want to achieve. So that's all we've been doing. We're just climbing the ladder. And you, how are you doing?
Life's good. Grinding with the kids, the family, work, nonprofit. We got a few big events coming up, so We'll see how they go.
Nice, yeah.
Tell me what's interesting going on in your life right now.
Interesting, man. I would say trying what I'm going through with the acting, the film industry. What's interesting about it is that it gets exciting and then it gets slow and then it just it just gets exciting again. So what's interesting about that is I just it's a thrill to go through the journey of trying to get through as an actor, because it's just a lot of different phases and a lot of different I guess you want to say mountains to go over and all that stuff. So it's really interesting because it's just it really is a work of art, and it's something that it's interesting to me right now is because it's what I want to do. So that's my primary focus right now is acting, being succeeding in this business. So that's what's.
How do you go about getting gigs? What's the whole process like? Did you go to school for that? Where did you go to school? How?
No, I didn't actually. It's funny because in middle school I took theater arts in 6th grade, and man, I used to think it was I didn't take it serious. I was like, man, I don't want to be in this class.
Yeah.
And then high school I never took it. I never had any interest in acting at all. And I think growing up I never really had a dream or a goal. I just was there until after I graduated high school. I'm like, man, you know what? I think I want to try something different. I want to step out of my zone. So to answer your question, no, I never took classes at all in middle school, high school, or I never really drove myself to this path of acting. So I graduated high school and I said, you know what?
Where'd you go to high school?
Warren High School.
Warren.
On the north side, NISD San Antonio.
Okay.
And
But you have ties here to the south side, right?
Oh yes. I grew up in the west side, and then we kind of moved over to the south side. So yeah, both west side and south side and north. And north side a little bit. But south side family here, west side family over there, north side I have some family in north. And then I'm not sure about east side, but San Antonio's a lot of family over here on my dad's side.
Okay, cool. So what's your first recollection of how we met?
Honestly, I think you were explaining to me about Building a Purpose, the nonprofit organization. And I thought that was a good idea. And I think you were explaining it to me. I was like, this is awesome. And then we kept meeting again, and you brought back more information, and it just kept growing. I'm like, oh, it's taken off. So I think that's what it was a nonprofit organization.
Building a Purpose, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So, I remember you'd move it in, and we kind of hit it off, sharing about the organization and some of our work that we've done in connecting students to help them figure out what their path was. And I remember thinking, we had a few folks who also were on a similar path as you are, or in the same industry, and trying to make those connections happen there. What are some of your strengths?
Honestly, I think I want to say communication. I can get along with people very well. I would say definitely communicating with people. I'm a very I can network. I can socialize.
Right.
I think my grandest strength of myself is I can socialize with people, elderly, my age. Anyone I come in contact with, I can hold a conversation. I like to socialize and get to know someone. You know, I
Right,
think that's my
right.
biggest strength.
Okay, cool. And how about your an area where you're not so strong that you think you can improve on?
Man, honestly, like if I ever ran a business or something, I would need to work on this because I cannot do confrontation at all. Like, hey, did you do this yesterday or did you? But I can't. Confrontation is that's one thing that I do need to work on. I hate it. I don't
Hey,
like
being
it.
confrontational.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why you got a good manager for, right?
Probably, yeah. Exactly. There you
Or a
go.
good agent. Yeah, that's cool. Is there a quote you live by?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what it was like. One of my favorite authors, Gerald R. Clark. Um, man, I forgot. I think it goes something like, "A fearful being accumulates materialistic items," meaning someone who, meaning like someone who doesn't look within, strength, courage, brave. You got to take that leap of faith. You got to, if you can't, basically you can't just see outside the world. You just look within. You have to look above, and it's a whole spiritual type of thing.
Right.
It's something that life goes beyond than what we can touch and see. That's
Right.
what it is.
Right. Okay. Going into this industry of acting, and especially what you've seen in media and news lately about the whole #MeToo movement and just values in general, it seems like Hollywood and that the film industry has always been hit the hardest. What are some of your values that you'd hope to maintain throughout your career?
My values, man. I would honestly, I think it would. I mean, however far I get in this business, I will probably want to do what you do. Biggest value would be giving back to the community. Helping, putting someone else over, helping someone else out. Or just being kind and just getting involved with the community. Definitely, that's something that's the greatest value I think I would want to have. And that's the value I think all of us together. There's room for everyone, and
A sense of selflessness and service, right?
yeah, exactly.
Maybe those values.
That's what life's about, serving others. So, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. What's something I know you mentioned you're pursuing a career in acting. Tell me about your resume in acting and what you've been doing. Have you been in any movies? Have you been in any? Have you gone through any, educational type of things after high school, camps or anything interesting on the horizon?
Yeah, after high school, I didn't have no resume on acting, so I built it over the years, and I didn't start getting into acting until like 2021. So since then, yeah, I've grown my training. I've done training with some great actors and actresses here in San Antonio. Feliz Ramirez, I've trained with her. She has self-tape, on-camera workshops and all that stuff. And you've seen her in Eva Longoria's ABC's Grand Hotel. I've done training with soap opera legends Paul Tinder and Vaughn Taylor. They hold classes here in San Antonio and the Woodlands. You've seen Paul Tinder in Overboard with Kurt Russell. I'm training with people like very, very talented and very knowledgeable people like that in this business. And as far as for work, I did some background work for 1923, which is now streaming season 2 on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Or I think you'd posted a picture of being on set of 1923.
Yeah, it was my wardrobe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how does one go about getting on sets in 1923?
I was looking at what they're having in San Antonio, and I saw some student films, which is cool. Saw student films. I think there were some commercial projects, and then I saw it said a Paramount Plus show. I'm like, what? And then it said 1923, downtown New York. So they turned our San Antonio, they turned it into New York City downtown.
Really?
And I just applied for it. They're like, yeah, well, we need help. We need some help. So I did it, and yeah, mission accomplished. Got
Okay,
it.
that's cool.
So
Was it what you thought it would be? Did you get to see any of the other actors or
it's what I thought it was going to be for sure. I knew it was going to be a long, hard-working day. I didn't expect it to be 3-4 hours, and then that's it. We're done. No, it lasted about 12 hours,
wow.
maybe 13. I did see one of the lead actresses. She was there on set with us. I hope I'm saying her name right. Julia Schlafer. She plays Alexandria, the main character, one of the main characters in the show, and she was there on set with us. in New York City. So that was fun. That was really cool
That's cool.
to see someone like that's a lead character in action.
So when you go to event or when you go and perform, is it kind of frowned upon to be like passing out business cards and trying to hustle and like getting to know everybody, or do you just like, or do you take an opportunity to use that and kind of network
On set, like on
Yeah.
okay, so the thing about that
I don't
is-
know anything about it. So is it frowned upon? Is it like, hey,
No, it is.
Oh, it
It's
is.
like a huge no. Like you can only associate with the people who are on your level on set. You cannot like
Ah.
Julio was there with us.
So there's like there's a big difference between like
no, yeah, they literally tell us do not talk to the lead actors.
Oh wow.
They're in the zone. I'm like,
Okay. You don't want to. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
You don't want to crack them.
yeah. I mean, some do. Some leads are like, yeah, I don't care, I'm cool. But some know that you know the rules, and they kind of like, oh yeah, don't talk to me. You know the rules. Type of thing.
Okay. So how do you make that jump in your career to the next thing? Is it say? I mean, well, first of all, you have an agent, right?
Yeah, I do.
I'm sure that was a process in itself of getting.
It was, man. After I left high school, like as I mentioned earlier, I was like, man, what do I gotta do? And they're like, oh, someone told me, oh, you need an agent. I'm like, well, how do I do that? To me, it felt like I was reaching for the lottery. I was like, I don't know, how can I prove myself? I have nothing. And that was during the pandemic, 2020. I was trying to find an agent, and then and then 2023, 3 years later, 2 years ago, I got one. I'm like, oh, like, okay, I'm officially in. The door has officially opened, and I'm walking in, and this is truly the beginning to a long, long road. Hopefully not so long, but the door officially opened in 2023, I believe. And so, yeah, I got the agent, and yeah, here we are
That's
now.
awesome. Cool. So is there anything we should be at the edge of our seats waiting to see for you, or and not anything you're willing to share right now?
Yeah, I mean, what I can share is I did shoot a short film, and hopefully we'll be seeing that soon.
Okay.
And let's see where that goes. But we shot a short film 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and hopefully we'll see that in short film festivals and film festivals in Texas.
Yeah, well, South by Southwest is going on right now, right?
Yeah,
Did
it
y'all
is.
miss that? Were you able to get that?
No,
in,
because we just filmed it, so it's in
Okay.
it's in post production. So we already it was in production, and that's it. It's a wrap. So now it's going through post production. So
I have no education in film, so pre-production, production, post-production. What are the differences?
I
between all
think
those?
pre-production is when they're writing it and they're creating the story and they're getting everyone together and they're the ideas, and then production is when we're filming. They're filming and they're going through all the work and they're doing it. They're making it happen. They're working. And then post-production, when it's wrapped, that's when it goes into editing, and they input all the sounds and they input all the other stuff they need to do, and then they send it out. So yeah, that's post-production.
Okay. What's after post-production? Just
It's I think it's release day.
Release
It's
day.
release. It's
Okay.
time to release. Yeah.
all right. So you're primarily, as an actor, like your bread and butter is all in production, right?
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
I guess the pre-production is like the writers and maybe directors who are interviewing people to be on set. Is that
And the
kinda-
editors, the editors. I mean,
editors
we don't get
too.
to be in the room. Usually, we don't get to be in the room with the editors. They make the decisions on what
what goes
they're.
in and out?
Yeah. We just do as they say.
Wow. That's wild. Okay. Well, what do you think about your experience, right? You said you didn't have too much until you started going through the motions with things and you got an agent to go into acting. You ever see yourself diving into writing? Do you ever written any scripts or
You know what? Now that you say that, yes, because lately I'm like, you know what? There's no casting right now. There's no castings right now for like what I want to do. And honestly, I have a few ideas, I think. And I'm like, you know what? What if I got some people here in San Antonio who are knowledgeable, a lot of people my age and older, and et cetera, who I know can produce, direct, and film, and be it's called a grip when you hold the camera and all that stuff, camera crew and all that, film crew. I really think I can help do a pre-production to get something in production, and that's something I've been thinking about lately. Make some phone calls and say, hey, I have an idea. I want to shoot this film. Could you please help? Can you direct it? Can you help produce it with me? And if you know anyone we can get grip on, you can hold the cameras and sound and can you help me, scout some locations, and I'll help with funds. And if you want to help me with that, that's great. I really want to do something like that because I just feel like it's something I want to make. I want to do.
Yeah, that's cool. You need to talk to my dad. My dad's got so many ideas of little short stories or scripts.
Oh, really?
I feel like me and him bounce ideas off each other all the time. I don't know anything about the process of making a movie, but telling stories, I think that's a rendon legacy tradition that we all are born with. I feel like stories from my dad, from my grandparents, and
The ideas just go on.
yeah. Well, we've done a few fundraising events in comedy, and so my dad would go up there and say a couple jokes.
That's
and,
right. Yeah.
He does full circle moments in his little storytelling pitches and his time up there. But no, that's cool. So do you think you could ever see yourself as a director?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
What do you see yourself most as? Obviously an actor, but second to acting, a screenwriter, a writer, actor, director, editor.
I would say director.
Director.
Definitely. Primarily actor, but definitely I can see myself directing something that I'm really passionate about. Yeah, definitely.
How much money does it take to do a small film?
Man, it really just depends. I mean, short films and stuff. I mean, depending how many people you have and the equipment you're using and the locations if you got to pay and I mean, don't forget it depends how professional you want it to be. I mean, if you have makeup and hair and makeup, you got to pay those people too.
Yeah.
And you can just book one, but if you just book one and you have a cast of 20 to 15 people, it's gonna take forever.
Right.
So you should book 3 or 4 hair and makeup people. That's probably how much already. I don't know, and then depending the hours of the day, how many days you're going to be shooting and how long. So you're probably thinking, I don't know, a $5 to $1,000 a day for each one.
For I'm gonna try to use your terms here. For somebody to do grip, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
The camera. Somebody to do grip. Is that like are you renting out those services typically, or it's a guy with just a camera or special equipment you normally need?
So usually the producers they'll have all the cameras.
So producer provides all the grip equipment.
Sometimes they will, depending on the project, and they'll have, hey, can you do grip? Yeah, I know grip. Do you actually your resume? Really, can you do it? Yeah, they get it going. But then some cameramen do have their own, their cameras. And, yeah, we can help out with that. We'll hook up to whatever system you have and just lead us where to go and tell us what we're filming.
Is there like a Craigslist website for those services that are freelance or?
Probably, but majority of the times these people know each other.
Yeah, so it's like word of mouth always, right?
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these people who do work on projects are like, hey,
he did the last one. He did this.
He did work for me. Everyone just knows each other. And then certain film productions have their own set. So, certain productions already have everything together. They're a whole team. They're a production company. They're a little production crew. They have everything they need to make something.
That's so interesting to me. I've never known any of this, and it seems like a lot of times the only way you do learn is by going through it firsthand and being in the field. So, wow, That's awesome. Is there something you really want to do in acting? Like you mentioned that you're not getting a lot of types of work that you want to do. Mm-hmm. What is it that you really want to do in acting? Like, is it comedy? Is it drama? Is it short films? And I'm guessing short film is like a 10-minute or
maybe 10,
30
yeah.
30-minute type of. Maybe you think of an episode of a season or something.
Yeah.
Or documentary. What's your area?
I definitely would love to do something that's fun and funny, but right now, I would really want to shoot like a rom-com. I really would like to do that. And the short film that I did back in November, which it's called Echoes of Us. I just posted it on my Facebook right now, social media actually.
Oh, okay.
It had to do. The storyline was my girlfriend had passed away, and all the scenes that you see with us together, well, they were just memories, right? But at the end, it shows that she passed away, and I'm just reminiscing. But
so at the end, you don't know. So you're following the movie thinking that it's.
Oh yeah, there are a couple, and at the end, he's like, I'm holding her obituary, right? Oh,
her obituary.
She died. So there was no dialogue though. It's all stage direction and action sequence. So I mean, I want to do dialogue. I want to do a full film where it's all romance. I really want to do something like that. I mean, like rom com. That'd be really fun to do. I think that's what I want to do
That's cool.
with the right people.
Right, right. Did you have any mentors growing up?
Mentors, man, I would say my grandma, my dad's mom. Only because I mean, we were born in Kansas and then we moved here in '07 till now. So I grew up, at 7 you're going through life, all you're passing through your teens and adulthood. So who's there for you in person mostly? I still communicate with all my family. Everything's great, but I grew up with my grandma on my dad's side and them. So I would say my grandma, and then people who I looked up to in the film industry, and other people who some celebrities.
Okay. What's something that you wish somebody would have told you when you were younger?
That if you're gonna chase something, start now. Especially with acting, I feel like as a kid, I feel like I would have gotten into it, and I feel like my parents. I really wish my parents were like, "Come on, we're gonna go put you in classes," because this journey could take a while, and a lot of people who are succeeding now, that I follow and look at, they started when they were kids, like 5, 6, 4, and it's like, yeah, get the experience now. So now you're just a piece of cake to me.
Well said. I feel the same way. I feel like, in my 30s now, it's like, had I started in my 20s, I'd have a decade and some change behind me, So
yeah, time goes by fast.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, just to think about that, like, just to say you've been doing something for 10 years, it gives you a little bit more of experience, that you understand the that career field, at least, and you got a little bit of season behind you. What is your purpose in life?
My big purpose, I would say, is still trying to, because I've only really been in San Antonio and Kansas. I feel like learning more of, I want to say traveling, because when you travel to different areas, you get to learn more about yourself, and you never know. Yeah, I may really really love the New York culture, California culture. You never know. So I think I'm trying to figure out where do I want to live. Trying to figure out where I want to locate and where what I want to learn. I think my biggest purpose is to figure out what do I want to learn next. Just keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning. Yeah, that's a good purpose. You always keep learning, and but it takes a certain sense of self-awareness to know that the way you learn is by traveling to different places.
Yeah, I think so, because
So you were in Kansas for 7 years. You've been here since then, in San Antonio.
Yeah, we
It's about 17 years in San Antonio.
More years than when I was over there, and
18 years.
But throughout the years we went to go visit. So when we did move here in '07, we went every summer since '10. So it's kind of like But I'm thinking, my mind is thinking New York, California, especially for me, for locations of filming.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Canada too. A lot of Canada's a lot
You've
of.
Been to
film.
Austin? Is Austin real
Austin, yeah,
popping?
Austin's good, but I think it's also Texas. I think I want to branch. I think really, really take the extra mile and go see the world.
Sure. What's the best advice you were ever given?
The best advice I was ever given is that when you've this sounds crazy, but the best advice I was ever given is when you're doing something and you're six, and when you're doing something and you're chasing a dream, whatever, and people kind of start ridiculing you or putting you down for it, that's how you know that's how you know you're doing good, is because why would they be making a comment if they knew you weren't getting somewhere, we're getting somewhere, right? So the biggest advice there is to keep going, and don't keep going, and until you get that's the feedback, even though it's not good, but the best feedback you can get is because that's how you know, oh well, people notice that you're doing something.
Right.
So keep continuing no matter the comments or the negative feedback. I mean, and some negative feedback is good, right? But keep going until you start realizing that you're getting feedback that's not maybe positive but is positive. Because that's how you know that you are officially opening the door, or you have opened the door. So that's the best feedback advice I got.
That's cool. Yeah, what a great perspective to have, especially when you feel like you're down and people are kicking you. Yeah, it's like that's how you know. That's how you know you're on the right track.
Yep.
Well said. What's been your greatest lesson learned? Maybe greatest failure that you think that what you learned from it.
Greatest failure, man. Wow. There's a lot of them. I'm sure. I'm trying to think of one that's really, really impactful. The greatest failure, I would say not. Honestly, I'm gonna go back to the past. I mean, I think it's not taking it seriously enough. If I could restart it again, I would say, you know what, because at that age, I thought I was too cool for the whole theater arts thing, and that mentality of middle school. And so if I have kids, I want to say, hey, you know what do you want to do? And if they say, oh, Dad, we want to be a doctor, we want to be a lawyer, I'm like, good. So guess what? I'm gonna give you some books, or what, we're gonna do some research. Maybe I'll start a podcast, and we'll bring some, just so you can communicate and you can ask questions. Because I don't want them just asking me questions. I'm like, yeah, that's what I read on Google. So when you want to be a lawyer or whatever, that's what you get. And I want them to communicate with real people who have that profession they want. So, okay, that's what you really want to do, or just I want to make sure that even if it does change their career choice because they're young, whatever, I want to guide them and continue to make sure, okay, take it seriously. That's what you want to do. Start thinking like one. Start planning it out. Take school seriously. Really, really strive, because when you get older, it's not gonna just be a shrug the shoulders. It's either you want it or you don't.
Right.
And if you don't want it, you're not gonna get it. That type of thing.
Yeah. Cool. What's one thing you want people to know about you?
Kindness. The superpower of kindness. Being kind to people. That's what I want to know.
What's one thing you want your family to know about you?
That I do my best. That's all I want. I always do my best.
That's a good one.
No matter what it is, succeed or fail, just doing it. Just do it. Just try it.
Yeah.
Just go for it anyway. Go for the touchdown, whether you get hit or not.
That's cool. This next part, this is part of our workshops that we do with our students at Building a Purpose, and it's called the timeline segment. And what we do is we ask our mentors and our students to share an impactful event that happened each year of your life. I'd ask for you to share your timeline and whatever sequence you feel comfortable. If you want to go year by year, if you want to skip around a couple of years, but positive impact or negative impact that helped shape you each year of your life. If you don't mind sharing that.
Positive and negative. Wow. I want to say, I guess we can start with 2011. Well, 2010. Let's start with 2010. Positive is that the negative was I was held back because I was in 5th grade that year. Held back. That was tough. 2011, I got to start again in the new 5th grade. And the positive was, because I was a good student, I just didn't, wasn't understanding. I was very slow with the math and all that. So my mom was like, they told her, he barely passed, but we don't think it's good for him to move on. So my mom was like, no, keep him again one more year. And the positive was, man, I was acing my grades and I was doing, I really needed that. I feel like I learned very slowly. So that was the positive, and it was worth it to me. And I was around a bunch of more positive people, kids my age, than the last year that I was there. 2012 positive because actually I don't remember 2012 that much. 2013 negative, lost my grandmother, my great grandmother. Positive, brought family together. That's always great. 2014 lost my grandfather, my dad's dad. Terrible. Positive.
Was he a musician too?
He was, yeah. He was a musician,
really?
yeah.
What did he play?
He played the drums.
So your dad plays the drums?
Yeah. So my dad learned from him. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What was your grandpa's name?
Pena. Henry Kike Pena. That was in 2014. That was a huge negative. Crazy. The positive in that year, honestly, was once again the family all came together. That's it's always during funerals everyone gets
It's
together.
just the wildest thing, right? I
And
mean,
then-
it's not the wildest thing, but it's like
No, it
why
really.
does it have to do? Why does it have to be like
It
that?
really is because people you haven't seen in years, like, oh, you showed up here,
Mm.
but you didn't show up for the birthday party we had a month ago. So it's like, so after that year, all the way through to now, we really don't. I mean, the
And-
birthday party I had last
Yeah.
month, we really don't see each other anymore. But it's just crazy how that works.
Yeah.
Um,
Is your grandpa and your dad was from San Antonio?
yeah, yeah.
Where did they go to school?
I think my grandpa went to my dad went to East Central High School. My grandpa went to Kennedy.
Kennedy right here
I
or
think
Burbank?
No.
Kennedy.
He went to Kennedy. He was West Side.
Oh,
He
okay.
went to Kennedy. I think he went to Kennedy. Either Kennedy or what's another one on the West Side? What's it called?
There's Memorial.
Memorial. The Kennedy Memorial.
Lanier.
Yeah, one of those three. My grandpa went to for sure. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I was in school throughout these years, and I'm naming because I graduated high school in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So the best positive now is I look back and like, wow, I had it good because you don't have to work, no jobs, no bills. You
that's
just live in the house. But I didn't really have a passion or dream I wanted to do. In 2018, my senior year of high school from 2018 to 2019, I wanted to do YouTube, and I was really, really big on that. And man, I feel like I was doing so well. Everyone in school knew that I was a YouTuber. Other people that were doing YouTube too, as well. And I feel like this is where acting came into be, and I feel like this is where it was meant to be for me to become an actor. Because in 2018, one of my favorite actresses, Peyton List, I was in school, and it was like September of 2018. It was the fall of senior year of school. I just started, right? And we were in the classroom, and man, I was just so depressed. I didn't want to be there. And I was like, man, I'm this, sucks.
Yeah.
I want to get out of here. So as I'm looking down, I get a notification from MTV TRL, and they're like, hi Henry, could you please send us your name, your address, and your phone number? I'm thinking, why? I put, what is this for? They're like, oh, we need video release forms. I'm like, video release forms. And then it wasn't. I finally hit me. I was like, oh, well, a month ago, no, like 2-3 weeks ago, before that, I had sent in a video to MTV TRL because they were like, hey, Peyton's gonna be in Brooklyn, guys. MTV was like, type in questions. So I'm not gonna type a question. I'm gonna send a video. And it was during a test, and I raised my hand. I told the teacher, can I use the restroom? She was like, no. I'm like, please, it's emergency. Well, hurry up. But I was lying. So I went to the restroom. Nobody was there. And it's a restroom where it's like, 4 toilets and 3 urinals. It's it's for everybody. But I said, I closed the door, and I'm like, I took out my phone, and I had my back towards a blank wall, and I'm like this recording. And
while you're in school.
yeah, I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks later, MTV's like, hey, Henry, send us your information. So I did. And they sent me a video. Here you go. Congrats. Here's you and Peyton. And Peyton's answering questions through typed questions, And then all of a sudden, it's me I'm the only one that's sending a video, and they posted the video.
Oh, that's cool.
But the funny part is, you can hear the echo from the restroom, like, hey, Peyton. How did you like? You can hear the echo.
Yeah.
But it was the coolest thing ever, and I didn't want to be an actor then, but I wanted to do YouTube. And as time went on, I wanted to pursue. I was doing videos on urban legends of San Antonio, and people were loving them.
Oh yeah, what a great idea.
And I got shout out to my good friends Darian Sanchez and Kenneth and NG. Man,
Did you ever do the Donkey Lady Bridge?
I did.
You did.
So the documentary, I did 3 or 4 different folklores.
Okay.
Donkey Lady Bridge.
How about the Chinese graveyard?
My
aunt is actually buried at the Chinese graveyard.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
It's wild. Yeah. That's for another time. A lot of stories there, but yeah, it's so cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's what I did, and I loved it.
So you stopped. You did 4 videos. How many?
Well, I did like 8 videos. I did vlogs, and then I started doing urban legend, like 40 to 1 hour documentaries, 40 minutes, a lot of editing. And my friends, man, they supported me. They literally gave up a lot of their time to make sure that, because I had a cameraman follow me everywhere, and they really, my friends, my 2 good, I mean, I have about, personally that I know that my really good, I have 4 or 5 good friends, and we still talk today. I mean, Darian, he's always there to make sure if I need a cameraman, or Kenneth was always there. I got Chris and Fahed, and they were always there, and they were always there to make sure that I was doing what I wanted to do, which is really cool.
You, yeah.
Very, very much so. And so I still
are they into the same industry, or
no?
They're just giving a helping hand?
No, my friend Darian, he's probably gonna get mad at me for saying this, but my friend Darian actually is really big on TikTok. He doesn't like to show his face, but he's honestly, he can possibly very soon we'll be seeing him doing commentary for professional wrestling, WWE. He's done interviews with wrestlers as well, but this guy he's really going for it. So I mean, I told him many times he's so close to getting an internship for WWE or AEW, one of these big promotions. He's gonna get it. Man, he's up there. He's very knowledgeable on that. A lot of my friends, Kenny wants to do. I think he wants to do like when someone, what is it called, when like construction, like when people design the bridge, like this is how long it's gonna be, or like you draw it out,
like civil engineering or
something with engineering like that. Yeah, like something like that he wants to do. And my other 2 friends, I think they want to do media, and they want to do like press and stuff like that.
Okay.
But for acting, no. But
well, media and press, I mean, there's a little overlap there.
I guess so.
For at least on the production side,
yeah. But yeah, man.
So is that video YouTube channel still up with all your forkload?
Yeah, it's still there. I just haven't posted on like.
Okay.
The last video I posted was I did an interview on.
So make sure we follow below.
Yeah, definitely. I just did an interview actually with some wrestling legends.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the last video, because I hadn't posted.
I remember Jeff and Matt Hardy. I used to always think of them as small guys, because they were always flying and everything. But I think they're like 6 foot. No.
No, we're about the same height. I'm about the same height as them. 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
They're there. They're there.
Maybe on paper they're saying they're six something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The camera,
Yeah, probably the camera.
But the last video I had posted was in 2021, and then I posted the interview last month. That was the last video I posted on my channel, so that's on there. That did well.
How was the talk? I mean, how did the interview go?
It was good, man. It was very nerve-wracking when I interviewed the Hardys, Jeff and Matt. And man, how I got it was very interesting. I hit up Ross, and he was like, Ross Foreman, he's in charge of the talent and TNA, and he was like, look, Henry, I can let you interview them, but no offense, bro, who's going to watch it? You don't have a platform. I don't want to waste your time, like Ross. So, I'm going to say this, but I told him some truthful things. I was like, I'm an actor, I have an agent. I'm not just, I am just anybody, but I'm just like, just so I can prove I'm not a crazy person, you can contact my agent. Not just
some random person.
Yeah, you can trust me.
Yeah.
And I did sell it a little bit. I was like, I want to pursue journalism, which I don't. I just said that. And he goes, all right, Henry, we'll give you 20 minutes at the hotel. I'm like, all right, cool. So there we go. And he goes, by the way, well, actually, we got to the hotel, and he goes, he didn't bring the Hardys down yet. He was like, hey, just to let you know, they're not going to answer any questions about WWE talent or any other wrestler outside of TNA, so make sure you keep it within TNA. And I was like, all right. And he goes, all right, so where do you want to do this at? And I was like, you want to do it here? I'm like, no, we're like in the lobby. I said I had a camera and everything, and he was like, all right, well, let's go talk to the front desk lady. So we go to the front desk, and he was like, ma'am, where can I get him a room for like 15 minutes? And she's like, I can't do that. He goes, look, ma'am, I'll give you $1,000. Just get him a room. And I was like, no, it's fine. He was trying to persuade it, and he was like, Henry, I'll buy you a room if you need it. You need this, right? You need this interview. He was treating me like I was a real
professional.
Yeah, like
professional.
Right? Yeah, and it felt awesome. He goes, Henry, I'll buy you a room. Do you need it? I said, no, that's fine. He goes, all right. So we went to the gym. It was cool, but it wasn't gonna work. But I just said, yeah, just to get it over with. And the manager comes in. She goes, no, guys, use our meeting room. So he was like, all right. We're in the meeting room. He goes, all right, let me go get the boys. And then Jeff and Matt come down. And it was crazy because he was I thought he was gonna leave, but no, he sat in the corner of the room watching the interview. I'm like, oh my god, this is nerve-wracking. He wants to make sure that we're talking the way we're supposed to be talking.
Yeah, he's gotta be their rep.
And all of a sudden, I think he enjoyed my interview because he just went from this to this on his phone. Like, okay, cool. And then after the interview, after I wrapped it up, I said, cut. Jeff Hardy looks at me and he goes, all right, man, so where's this interview going? And Ross puts his phone down and goes, and stares at me, and I'm like, well, it's gonna go on social media of mine, right? But I got Sports Kita, and I got Inside the Ropes, and I got all these other big wrestling articles are gonna pick it up, which I was exaggerating on, but they actually did pick up my interview.
Oh, they did.
So yeah, Wrestling Headlines picked it up, and Inside the Ropes picked up my interview, which are two very big.
So you hadn't had them for sure, but you knew there was that
because
relation.
Well, yeah, because they're Jeff and Matt Hardy. I'm like, but then I told them straight up because they looked at me like, oh, like it's not guaranteed. But I told all of them, I said, look, Ross is looking at me, and I was like, look, you guys are Jeff and Matt Hardy. Who isn't gonna pick up this interview? I'm very confident this interview is gonna get picked up. And Ross goes, yeah. So come on. And then they're like, all right, well, cool, man. Well, you need tickets for the show? I said, yeah, I'll take 2. He goes, you want 2 or do you want 4 for each night? I said, I'll take 4. I don't want to be greedy. He goes, perfect. Let's give you 4. So he goes, all right. So we'll call, give him your name and your license, and they're all yours. So he saved me like $900 worth of tickets.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Who'd you take? Because I know it wasn't me.
Well, honestly, I gotta say this. My friend Darian, who's pursuing it, I took him for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is, my friend Darian interviewed them. And my friend Darian's interview did so much better. I mean, his podcast is called The Wrestle Spot, and he's all over Google. Every article took his, and I'm like, man, I'm proud.
Yeah.
You know, I only wanted to be next to the Hardys, but I don't want to pursue wrestling journalism. But I'm a huge fan, so I was very knowledgeable on it, so I knew what I was talking about. But yeah, man, I was actually scheduled to wrestle 2 more wrestlers, and the champion of the company, Joe Hendry. Ross, he called me. He was like, Henry, do you want Tessa Blankard or do you want Joe Hendry? And I'm thinking, oh, I don't think I want Tessa because of certain situations that she went through in the past, and they brought her back, and the fans aren't very happy for her right now.
Too receptive of it.
Yeah, I was like, but I will take Joe Hendry, and he was like, all right, perfect. See you at 8 a.m. Wednesday morning. I'm thinking, okay, where's it at? He goes, by the airport. I'm thinking, okay, well, send me the address. I'll be there at 8 a.m. Nothing. The day of, I'm in bed. It's 8:30, and I got a phone call. I said from TNA, and hello, hey Henry, it's Ross and TNA. Hey, we have Joe Hendry here. Where are you? I'm like, you never gave me a location. He goes, oh, okay, well, no problem. We'll reschedule. And then we hung up. Then I saw him at the show a week later, and I was like. He goes, my apologies, but I said, hey, can we work together in the future? He goes, of course, it's just business. But yeah, man, it's been really exciting this year so far. So hopefully it keeps going.
That's cool, man. So Ross, what's his last name?
Foreman.
Ross Foreman.
Great guy, very great guy.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yep. So TNA definitely has a special place in my heart. I'm like. WWE is my favorite, but TNA is also so TNA and WWE they just signed a partner contract, so they're working together. So their talent's going over there in WWE, and then the WWE talent's going over there. So whoever is not working out in the business, okay, we'll go over them. Maybe it'll work out for you, and it's working. It's working. The money's growing. So
I gotta say, I was big into WWF back.
Yeah.
And like Undertaker day, scary Undertaker days, man. Like him coming out of fire coffins and Ken Shamrock. When Ken Shamrock was coming from UFC to back and forth wrestling, I knew UFC was real for sure, and WWF was still like almost real, you know. I mean, we didn't know, and the fact I was like, well, if he's doing real fighting over here, WWF has to be real. And I'd see Ken Shamrock, and when I saw him get hit in the head with that freaking chair from The Rock, I was like, man, it's wild.
Vince McMahon, man. Vince McMahon created all that.
Yeah. Well, after. I think after Stone Cold left, that was it for me. I didn't really.
Yeah.
And then I think the whole coming out like is not. It was entertainment, and then they made the brand change, and because there was already that WWF.
Also, cameras became HD, so you were seeing, the botches, whatever you want to call them. You were seeing the mistakes are made in the ring. Like, oh, wait a minute, he didn't make contact with his, or oh, they forgot to sell. they forgot to sell the move. So I think a lot of times, even now, the cameras are
The
so
evolution
HD.
in cameras.
So what's happening now
made them
with
to perform better.
Yeah, when what's happening now with the wrestlers that they're making them train, especially in WWE, you have to train like
Real
multiple times a week on your days off because they want to make sure when you're in the ring you're not making those mistakes no more because it's so easy to catch. So those wrestlers are working. They don't ever have a day off.
Yeah, no, they're certainly great athletes, and I think I've always liked, especially in that era, just because it lined up so well with what we were watching on TV. But man, it's wild. Cool. So is that the end of your timeline, or where did you leave off with that?
So honestly, back to 2019 when I graduated high school, there were some YouTubers that I really, really enjoyed watching, and I still enjoy their stuff. I just haven't caught up with it. Man, during pandemic, what's really awesome is I got to talk to them. We played Fortnite on Twitch, the streaming app, and I was like, wow, it's so cool that I'm playing here with you guys. And they said we got along, and they followed me on Instagram, and it felt like a dream went true. Everything that I worked for in high school that I was hoping for, it wasn't for nothing. I mean, they got to know who I was, or they got to hear of me, and I got to follow them, and they were very kind, and they were just how as I imagined, or and so the YouTuber of them, well, Morgan Adams and Morgan Adams, her brother-in-law is one of the biggest YouTubers. He's a legend. Shane Dawson, very big YouTuber.
Is he from San Antonio?
No. He's California, but I mean, he would make like 20 to 50 million views, and just very he did conspiracy theories, and man, he took off with that all his life. He's a legend. He's one of the originals of YouTube, and I got to meet. Knowing that I was a big fan of him and I'm a big fan of her, it was really cool too that she goes, hey Henry, it's really cool because now she views my stories, she follows me, she views my stories, and she'll like my pictures, and it's just really cool that I can say I have that. That's really cool, and I'm very, very grateful, and I'm very when someone like that does that for you, you're always going to be a fan, you're always going to applaud, Right. It's
well, they share that power, right? I mean, they're sharing their influence by following and watching your stuff.
Yeah. And I think also I've asked for a collab. I can't remember. I don't think I heard anything back, but that's okay. I'm not gonna be mad or like, what? I'm not gonna watch you anymore. No. I get it. That's a bit personal, and that is it's just that's how business works, and that's cool. You don't have.
Well, that's well said. That's how business works. I mean, that's
no hard feelings.
Their ways of means.
I think how I respond to that reflects me, because if it was somebody else, they would have been like,
agreed.
They would have been on TikTok and been like, I was a huge fan of this person, but then when I asked for a collab, they didn't care to talk to me. You can't do that. It reflects you. So that's cool. Hey, I'm just very grateful that we're all still doing what we're doing, and it's all good. Life moves on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then fast forward to that, getting into acting, and here we are, and I'm meeting Peyton, and so right now we're taking off with it. So
that's cool. So what podcasts are you watching right now?
Lone Lobos. Sholo Mariduena and Jacob Bertrand. That is a good podcast. They're my age. They do pop culture, and they do actors, so it's good to hear from them. But yeah, that Lone Lobos.
That's a cool podcast. Cool. What about books? You reading any?
Yeah.
What are you reading?
I'm reading a book called what's it called? Audition by Michael Shurtleff. That's a good one. That's a really good book. And another book called I forgot what it's called. It's a William Shakespeare book. I have it. Eddie found it for me, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at a garage sale. William Shakespeare. I forgot what the book's called, but it's really good. Is it Hamlet?
Hamlet or Macbeth?
I think it's Hamlet. Yeah.
Okay.
How can I forget? But yeah, I have it, and it looks so cool. Like it looks vintage, and he found it at a garage sale. And they had a whole, I guess, like case of books, and they're like, yeah, we don't want them, take the whole bin for $5. And we're like, no, it's too, we don't have them all in the room. So he was looking through them, and he figured out I like being an actor, so he gave me that Shakespeare book, and it's awesome.
That's cool, man. You have any interest in doing screenplays?
Yeah, I wouldn't not against it. I would do it. Yeah.
It makes me think, at our place over there, we can, once we get it set up a little bit nicer, maybe we have be a nice little venue just to do a play or something. I know we'd have to work with professionals or people who are in that industry, but I'm curious to see if we'd be able to pull something like that off.
Going back to the wrestling stuff, now that you're bringing, I was also told by TNA that if we have a studio, he told me it was Henry, if you have a studio, wherever it's at, reasonable distance, I will bring the talent to you. So, I mean, can you imagine in here? He goes, I'll bring the Hardys,
Yeah, dude, here.
Jeff, Matt Hardy, Sting. I mean, all these legends who were in TNA, which Sting
Yeah.
retired. I'm just giving examples. I mean, Ross told me if you have a studio and it's downtown, we're not far from downtown. That's usually where they stay.
Yeah.
In those big fancy hotels. And he goes, if you have a studio that's a fair distance, I will bring the talent to you. And I'm like, dude. So I think I made a good impression on him the first time. I think he trusted me. And for him to give me those tickets and for him to communicate with me, I think I want to keep that. I want to be professional with that. So I know that'd be awesome.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Cool. So let me shift gears here a little bit. You know, in our podcast, talk about life, purpose, and God. And one of the parts of life is death.
Yeah.
Whose death affected you greatly? Yeah, I know you shared in your timeline a little bit about your grandpa and your grandma, but
So when those deaths did happen, I mean, those unfortunately there are more deaths coming. Right, that's the reality.
yeah.
I would say it was depressing at the time, but looking back at it now that I'm older, I would say my grandma Caroline and my grandpa Kike, because now that I'm looking back at it, it's like, man, I like older music now. And that's the music that, I mean, we're talking Patsy Cline and all the other stuff, the old-fashioned Sinatra, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, when I was 14 when they passed, and then I was younger when they were alive, if I was into that music back then, I could have enjoyed life more. It could have been so much different. And now I'm like, dang, I could have been outside hanging out with them, drinking tea while they're smoking a cigarette, and we could have been jamming out, and we could all been enjoying it, but I wasn't into that at the time, you know. My mind's changed a lot, so I would say it's more impactful now than ever. It's like, dang, that's in a positive way. I'm not negative, like, oh,
Sure,
man.
yeah.
But it's like, man, you know.
Do you think you're more attuned to favor that music now, knowing that they're gone and that was their favorite?
1,000%. Now that, and then my grandma, now that she was my grandma right now that's sick, my dad's mom, definitely, because like, okay, so I want to keep that. Definitely want to keep that, you know. Which I feel like, especially during the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and all that stuff, I definitely think that kind of music should be played during family time. I mean, I don't think it's right to play modern music, you know, the hip hop and rap. I don't think that's not right. It definitely should be more like, you know, the classic stuff. You need classic stuff right now. So that's why I think I look forward to the holidays a lot. So when I hear that music, it's like, okay, we're looking forward to that, you know.
Yeah,
it's family time.
It's
you know?
seasonal, right? I mean,
Exactly.
there's seasons for everything.
Exactly.
Your aunt, your grandma, where did she go to school?
Wow, my grandma, she told me too.
Did her and your grandpa meet in school, or do you know?
No. They met in their 20s.
Ah.
They met in the 70s, I think. My grandma went to school. I forgot what she said. Lanier Memorial, one of those, I think.
So I think your aunt came over here, and I think I met her, right? That's your grandma's sister?
Yes, Dolores.
She went to South San, she said.
I think, yeah. Oh, you know what? I think that's where my grandma went to. Yes, they went to the same high
Your
school.
grandma went to South San?
Yes,
too?
yes.
Huh.
Yes. They were on the south side. Yeah, they lived.
You're bringing your grandma to the parade?
Yeah, they lived on Keats, right here,
Keats?
next to Nogalitos.
Oh, okay.
On Nogalitos,
Okay,
that bar has
Really?
like the pool table balls on it, the pool table balls, and it's on Keats right there, next to that big red car wash. On
Okay,
Keats,
yeah.
Right there, kind of close to Bossman's, but not too close.
Okay. Right on. So, if you were to die today, who'd be the one person you'd call?
One person I would call, man, that's a tough one. I would hope I'd get all my family on FaceTime and be like, hey guys, and this and that.
Get everyone together.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one.
One person.
I'd probably say my grandma. Definitely my grandma. My grandma that's alive right now, yeah. Well, I mean, I have two grandma. I have
Your
more than
mom's
one grandma.
mom and your
my
dad's
dad's
mom.
My dad's mom, yeah. Probably call her. Definitely.
What would you say?
I would say, wow, it's been a journey, and thank you for introducing me to music and certain foods and how to cook certain foods. And because my grandma really got me, because my grandma moved here in 2012, and I really didn't know who she was because she was in Utah with her because she remarried after her and my grandpa divorced. When she moved here, and she started teaching me like Sinatra, and I'm like, Dean Martin, and that's when I woke up and I thought, you know what? I'm an old soul. And ever since, I mean, when I'm cooking in the kitchen, I'm blasting like not Dean Martin hits. I'm blasting like vintage albums that people don't even like,
Hear
some,
about, yeah.
some pure Italian like
And listening to the whole album.
exactly,
Not just the hits.
yeah, the album that people that's Dean Martin. Have you heard Ain't That a Kick in the Head? I'm like, yeah, everyone has. I'm talking stuff that people really don't listen to of his or Sinatra's. So that's an example of that. So my grandma for sure her because she got me into a lot of older music and that stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. If you were to have kids, or just family in general, and you had one last opportunity to talk to them, so you could call your mom and everybody, what would you say?
I would say to continue to change, because the more we change, the more we stay the same. Meaning the more you change, the more you. I mean, when you do the same thing every day, or you don't change up how you think, or when you don't change up, you have the same routine. It's gonna get old. We all need change, and the more you change, the more you can remain at where you're at. You just have to keep changing things up. That's life. And I would tell them to keep changing and change it up whenever you can, whenever you need to, and work hard and just keep your guard up. Keep going. Don't give up.
Okay. Do you believe in God?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why?
Because I mean, there's proof all around us that there's God, right? So, I mean, I think everything is spirit. I mean, us, the trees, the leaves. You look at the stars. Everything is spirit, right? So I think the creator of all is everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's the creator of all is everything.
What happens after you die?
I truly, I would say we either go home to wherever someone may be, or we go home to wherever we're supposed to go, or we come back, like reincarnation.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah.
That's hard to know. I mean, it's not an easy question.
Right.
Do you have faith in God?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you have faith?
Because, I mean, I think we all need to have, I think all of us, in a sense, either sooner or later, we all have to have that within us, because if not, we're going to get lost, or we're going to, hope we have it, or hope we got it, or receive that, later on. So it's best to just do it now. And some people aren't ready for that, and that's okay. You can't force them, but eventually the time will come where they'll be like, you know what, I'm ready, or you know what, it's time. So we can't force anyone, but definitely sooner or later, one day somebody will wake up and say, yeah, it's time to open my heart, my mind.
Okay. Has your faith always been this strong?
No. I mean, when I was a kid, younger, like young teens and all that, and I was like, but recently, since I was like 18, 17, yeah, I started understanding and learning about it more, and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely Christ and all that, definitely, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask if you're promoting anything.
I am promoting a film that should be out soon. Well, I don't know if I'm promoting it, but I can't talk about it. But soon, hopefully we all see that film somewhere, and hopefully it gets picked up by a film festival. But that's it for now. I mean, all I can really say.
Okay. And where can people follow you
At
and your promotions?
all my social media as Henry Lee Jr. and the Jr. is 2 R's. So Henry Lee Jr. and the Jr. has 2 R's, and that's it.
And that's on Facebook,
Facebook,
Instagram,
Instagram,
YouTube.
and YouTube. Yeah,
All right, Henry, thanks for coming on, brother.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate having you and looking forward to seeing all the movies and things you have ahead of you. Thanks for sharing about your acting career and what it takes to be an actor.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
We'll
Thank
see you, brother.
See you.